So you're thinking about moving to the Woodlands, Texas? I'm excited to share information about the Woodlands, Texas with you. There's a lot to know, and I'm going to share the pros and cons about living in the Woodlands with you throughout this video. If this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in all things about living in Houston and the surrounding suburbs, then subscribe, and you'll be the first to know about the current market in Houston, Texas. I'm Erica Sprague, broker and owner of Lane Realty. I've lived and worked in the Houston area for almost 20 years. I grew up in San Antonio, I went to Texas A&M University, and then moved to Houston and made it my home. I love helping people relocate to Houston, so whether your move is 9 days or 90 days from now, feel free to reach out. Our contact information is in the description, and we'd love to talk to you about how we can help you make your move to Houston. So you're looking to move to the Woodlands, Texas. The Woodlands is in Northwest Houston, Texas, and we are about 45 to 50 minutes from downtown Houston. So the Woodlands is the second most popular destination to move to in the United States. And I'm going to share with you some of the benefits and some of the consequences of living in a city that is so desirable. Let's start with the benefits. One of the pros of the Woodlands, Texas is all the amenities it has to offer. The Woodlands is a master plan community that was designed in the early 1970s. Its mission was to provide a community that you really never had to leave. They did a great job of preserving nature and keeping all the trees. They built in ponds, trails, pathways, parks. There are 14 community pools, over 240 miles of pathways and trails. We border a state park, and the list goes on. There are 5 golf courses inside of the Woodlands, and there are multiple tennis courts, pickleball courts, playgrounds, splash pads. You name it, the Woodlands has it. There is the Market Street area where you can go shopping. It has very high-end stores, and there is a mall. There are 2 movie theaters in the retail section of the Woodlands. There are multiple restaurants, no matter what you're looking for. If you're looking for some casual flair or some fine dining, the Woodlands has that to offer. You have the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, which is an outdoor concert venue, which provides entertainment through May through pretty much December. The symphony comes and provides free concerts 4 times, and so the options are really endless. You're very close to Lake Conroe if you want some lake life, if you want to make a day trip into the city to go to the zoo or the art district, theater district, that's just less than an hour away. So the Woodlands has a great setup that you really never have to leave. It also offers price points for just about everyone. When the Woodlands was designed, every single village, and there are 7, and the Woodlands are called villages, but someone moving from another area, you might just refer to them as neighborhoods. In the 7 different neighborhoods, you had every single price point. So once upon a time, that was the 200s through the 800s. And now the entry-level pricing in the Woodlands is really around $350,000 to $400,000, upwards of $2-3 million, depending on the size of your property and the location. So the benefit there is you have everything your hearts could desire just about. You don't have to leave the Woodlands in order to get your daily needs met. If you're looking at schools, Conroe ISD is in the top 10 school districts of Houston, and Conroe ISD encompasses all of the Woodlands. Sometimes people think the Woodlands is its own school district. That is not true. It is a part of Conroe ISD. There are 2 high schools inside of the Woodlands area. They are College Park High School and the Woodlands High School. They are both excellent and provide a great educational system for the kids feeding into it. There are great athletic programs, extracurricular programs. The academic UIL is very strong in Conroe ISD. And if you would like to know more about the individual schools, you can look at greatschools.org or niche.com. The Woodlands is a very safe place to live, a very low crime rate, and it is not uncommon to see police officers living in most of the communities. They oftentimes have specials awarded to them by the new construction builders, and this encourages them to live amongst the population, which is a deterrent for crime. So another benefit of living in the Woodlands is the crime rate is really low. So if you're looking for an area that's safe, an area that you can feel comfortable walking at night on the pathways, on the trails, about going out to dinner and not stressing about whether the things in your car are going to be safe or just you as your personhood are going to be safe, then the Woodlands is a great option for you. Obviously, crime does happen here and you need to be vigilant about what you leave in your car and what people can see and those types of things. But as a whole, the Woodlands is a very safe environment. And that is something that people really cling to and value about the community. The Woodlands is well planned. As I said, it was a master plan community. So every single village, aka neighborhood, has its own retail section. There are grocery stores, there are workout facilities, nail salons, hair salons, pet stores, doctors, dentists, chiropractors. We have several urgent cares throughout the Woodlands, and you really are not going to have to go very far in order to find what you need. With every village pretty much having restaurants, you can hop around. They're all close together. You might drive 5-7 minutes to get to the next village. If you don't care for the restaurants that are in the village you live in, or you just want something different, it's all very easy to get to. You can ride your bike or walk most of the time. The heart of the Woodlands is pretty much Panther Creek and Cochran's Crossing. And from those villages to ride up to the eastern part of the Woodlands, closer to 45, is maybe a 10-minute bike ride, just kind of depending on the speed you're going. And so definitely convenient and very well thought out. Every single village has parks. Every village has at least one community pool. It may have a splash pad, as there are 8 throughout the Woodlands. And you have tennis courts. Every single village has tennis courts. There are pickleball courts, as that is growing in popularity. The Woodlands is accommodating that demand. And so pretty much everything you could want, as I said, is there in your village and very close by. The Woodlands is beautiful. The Woodlands, as I said, they preserved nature and they have created artwork throughout the Woodlands that are reminders of concept, that it was a peaceful, livable forest. That is what the developer was going for. Oftentimes, one of the struggles with it being so beautiful and so much of the nature being preserved is that there are no landmarks. And so it can be challenging to get around if you don't know exactly where you're going and that sort of thing, because it's kind of like, well, you turn at the tree and then there's a small tree and there's a bigger tree, and that can be a little bit challenging. But it is beautiful, and that is something that people who live in the Woodlands really love about it. Now let's talk about the cons, the things that are not so great about living in the Woodlands. One of them would be property taxes. Now, in Texas, if you're not from Texas, you know there is no state income tax. So we don't have that, which is a good thing. But to offset that, we do have property tax. And when you live in a community where the home values are higher, then of course your property tax is going to be higher as well. And your property tax is made up of a few different things. So it does depend on the county you live in, the school district you're zoned to, and then of course your home value and any exemptions you might have on the property. So the Woodlands is primarily Montgomery County. One village of the Woodlands, Creekside, is in Harris County, and so theirs are a little bit higher. Harris County is considered more urban than Montgomery County, and so all of their insurance and taxes are a little bit higher than Montgomery County. So we have our 2 different counties. You have Conroe ISD, which is most of the Woodlands. And then again, Creekside is Tomball ISD. So their tax structure is a little different there as well. Your home value. So if you live in a $400,000 to $500,000 home, your property taxes are going to be proportionate to the value of your home. If you live in $1 million home, then of course they're going to be higher. Now, what helps you with that? We do have homestead exemptions, and that will help offset some of the cost of your property taxes. So if you have a homestead, that means that it's your primary residence, you can claim that exemption and you get a break there. If you are over 65, you can claim that exemption and you get a break there. If you're a veteran, if you have a disability, there are exemptions available to you. So you just need to make sure that you are aware of what exemptions are out there if they apply to you, and then make sure that you file them with the county when you purchase your home so that they will go into effect the following year. So while it seems scary, and sometimes you see probably 1.5% to possibly 2%, depending on where you are in the Woodlands, that seems like a lot of money, but when you remember that there are exemptions and there are no state income tax, then we're doing pretty good, and it's not as scary as it sounds. Traffic is a problem in the Woodlands. When the Woodlands was built in 1976, the very beginning of the Woodlands, the infrastructure was designed for a much smaller population. They didn't really ever anticipate over 100,000 people living in the Woodlands. And right now, and in the past 10 years, the situation has changed where we have more traffic coming into the Woodlands for people working here and going out than vice versa. It used to be most people were going out of the Woodlands to work and then coming back home. And now we have a lot of people traveling into the Woodlands to work and then they leave. So that brings a lot more congestion into the area. We have a lot of construction going on to rectify these situations and to increase the flow of traffic. They're widening several of the parkways. They've widened Woodlands Parkway. Research Forest has been widened somewhat. You have 242 that's been widened, and they are working to accommodate the growing population. There's just only so much you can do. So pretty much between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., it's pretty congested when you're going east to west on Research Forest or Woodlands Parkway. And then between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, it's pretty congested as well. So traffic congestion can be a problem in the Woodlands. It's hot here in the Woodlands, and it's not just hot, it's humid. And if you're not used to humidity and heat, it can take some adjusting. In the summertime, pretty much July, August, September, those months are really hot. It's not uncommon for it to feel like over 100 degrees. The real temperature might just be 95 to 99, but it feels a lot hotter. It is damp, and it just takes some getting used to. So you wear your shorts and your sundresses and you just go with it. We don't really have any season other than summer. We have summer and pre-summer. We don't really have fall, spring, and winter. We have a few weeks in the winter months, really kind of January and early February, where we have a chance of a little bit of snow. It might get down below freezing for a few days, and we might get some ice, but those situations are rare and they don't usually last for many days. More often than not, it's between 40 and 60, overcast, cloudy, just kind of that, again, that damp type of cold when we all just can't wait for the sun to come back out. So while it is very hot and humid between July and September, most of the time the warmth we have creates this amazing outdoor environment so that we get to get outside and experience the beautiful area that is the Woodlands. There is a perceived lack of diversity in the Woodlands. Many people have an idea that the Woodlands is an elite area where you have to have a certain level of income to live here, and you have to look a certain way and dress a certain way. And what I would tell you, having lived in the area for almost 20 years, is that that is not the majority of the Woodlands. As I said, the great thing about the Woodlands is that it was designed to accommodate every price range of home. Your average salary in this area is $55,000 a year. And so if you're making $55,000 a year, there's also a perceived lack of diversity in the Woodlands, and that you have to make a certain amount of money to live in the Woodlands, and you have to be a certain way to live in the Woodlands. And I would say that is definitely not the case. As I expressed, it's a master plan community that was designed to provide housing opportunities for every price range. And so now, with that starting as low as the 400s upwards, you still have a place for everyone. The median household income in the Woodlands is $141,000, and that is mainly if two people are working. There's also a perceived lack of diversity in the Woodlands, and this stems from a few different places. First off, it is a master plan community, and when you have a master plan community, everything is thought out. Everything is planned to the best of their ability, and they want everything to look like it goes together. So all of your retail spaces have the same exterior, they have the same signage, they have the same coloring. everything looks like it goes together, and it's very much about continuity. Okay. And so some people don't like that. Some people are used to some places in Houston or other cities where everyone's free to do their own thing. And that's just not what the Woodlands is. Also, some people have the opinion that the Woodlands is a very affluent area, which it is, but that it's not for everyone. And that's just not correct. It's a master plan community that was designed to be available at every price range. And that still holds true. Pretty much entry level pricing to the Woodlands is in the 400s and works its way upward. So in this day and age, with the way home values have appreciated, it is really hard to find a master plan community that offers you a home value less than $400,000. So they're really on par with other communities that are offering similar amenities. If you found this video to be helpful, then we'd encourage you to watch some of our other videos about suburbs in the Houston, Texas area.